So today we decided to do a full update of the whole yard, not just the greenhouse, to show everything that we're growing here. First thing we have here is this Royal Empress tree. Chase bought it a little while ago. It was just a stick in the wintertime, and it's completely and totally bloomed. Well,
not bloomed,
but you know, the
taken
leaves
off
on it is incredible. These are one of the fastest growing trees in the world. You can see the leaves on it are bigger than my hand already. It's supposed to get nice and tall, nice and big. We're growing it as a shade tree. We're going to put it in our front yard, and it also produces beautiful purple flowers. And the Paulownia branches, the wood from Paulownia, is actually one of the better charcoals for making fireworks.
Fast charcoal.
Super fast charcoal. So when we get around to pruning it, when it's a bigger tree, we can use those pruning for fireworks in Midnight Rider fireworks. So we're very excited about this. Multiple things about this tree. This is my loquat tree. This is its second spring, I think, right?
Yes.
So we bought it last spring. This is its second spring. I'm really kind of hoping that it produces fruit right now. It hasn't yet, but it produces fruit in the fall. So July, August, September, it might actually produce something. The fruits on this are kind of like a cherry, but they're more tropical and super juicy. And I've discovered this a long time ago when I was about 16 years old, and I haven't been able to find it since. So I finally have a tree, we're growing it, and I'm excited for the fruits on this. But it's doing great. It's gone through 2 winters in the pot. Mostly neglected. I just water it once in a while. We haven't really done a whole lot except for throw some straw mulch on it.
We did give it some chicken poop.
We did give it some chicken manure, so it's definitely doing some stuff since then. Gotta remember to fertilize it more often. After that, we've got our grapes. They are all wine grapes with the exception of my princess grape. This is a modified Thompson seedless. They all taste delicious. I've just discovered I like the seedless best. So in the future, I would probably get more seedless. It doesn't produce enough grapes to make wine like I had hoped. But last year they didn't do all that well. We had some grapes. Most of the birds got to it. The birds got caught in the chicken net or the bird netting. A lot of stuff going on with it. But this year we gave it more chicken poop, and they're taking off again. So definitely makes a difference fertilizing it with the chicken poop. We've seen the difference. I've also started growing some nasturtiums in the ground here. They're popping up here, right there. That's going to help with some of the pest issue we have, because what we've read is that most of the pests will go to the nasturtiums first and leave the grapes alone. So this is the first year we're trying a companion plant. We'll see how that works. Not to mention, nasturtiums are edible. The leaves, the flowers, the whole thing. A little spicy, kind of peppery. I'm excited for that for our salads. Right here we have some garlic chives that are completely and totally voluntary. They were here when we moved in. They reseed themselves every year. They're delicious. So we keep those going. We have started. Step over the fence here. little garlic cloves that we've started here. They're doing pretty well. We have some onions that they were kind of sprouting in the bag. I really don't know what they're going to do. At best, hopefully they can flower and create onion seeds, and we'll go from there. In the far back over here, I have garden sage, which is the first time I've been able to get that to grow in Arizona.
Sorry for the camera. I had to climb over the fence.
Yeah. So that one is pretty exciting, and it seems to be doing great. I do have a soaker hose that runs all along it. Comes along over here. I have 2 artichokes growing here. They help break up the clay soil. That and the fact that we just love artichokes. So I'm really excited and hoping that these start blooming soon. If not, we'll have some artichoke blooms next year. These ones we just got this spring, and they've already doubled in size. So I'm excited about those. Over here, we have corn. The interesting thing about this corn, it's not your typical everyday average sweet corn. This is a Oaxacan green corn. We are testing out these kernels. We're hoping to get some decent corn out of this. Eventually, if we can create a crop of green corn, we're wanting to harvest it to make the green corn tamales. It's actual Oaxacan green corn. It comes out a nice pretty emerald green. It's an emerald dent corn. And we're pretty proud of these. So these are doing great. I've got a dwarf lemon tree that is struggling. The lime tree I bought with it died, but this one has persevered. This is now its 2nd spring. It's still not producing any fruit. Produces lots of flowers, but not any fruit. So we're playing with the soil here. It's definitely a clay soil. Playing with the amendments and getting it going, but looks a lot better than it did last year. And then we have the greenhouse. We've made quite a few changes to the greenhouse since the last video. So in here, the first thing that may not have been noticed as the camera was coming in is we've transferred a lot of our lettuce from this tower. A lot of the older lettuces, the romaines, even some of the butter lettuces were just getting too heavy for the tower. They're growing into this nice J shape, and they were falling out of their cups. We were having issues with it. So, right here behind the camera, we've transitioned them to a different system. This is the same deep water culture that we're using for the tomatoes. The only difference is that they float on styrofoam and the nutrients are underneath. Still aerated. Definitely got the styrofoam here, and they float on the nutrient bath, and all the leaves sit in there. The water's aerated so they get their oxygen the way they're supposed to. And hopefully they'll grow up instead of the J shape that we have. So we went ahead with the closet mate shelf. Seems to work just fine with the T-bolts that came with the greenhouse. We had a bunch of extras, so we just used those to anchor it in. It's pretty solid. Put a bunch of stuff up here. We're gonna put it eventually either another one over here or another one lower here, because all of our dirt stuff just isn't growing as tall. as the hydroponic stuff. However, the hydroponic stuff is definitely doing well. So this is our turkey purple. It's got, you know, plenty of flowers on it. It's doing great. And it even has a tiny little fruit right there so far. It's our first official tomato that's actually, you know, big enough to be called a tomato. Our chocolate cherry has a teensy tiny little one right here. That's the first ones of the season. Our lettuce towers are still going crazy. A lot of our tomatoes that we put in here just to see what they do. Some of these are flowering. This was essentially a clone. We had topped off some of the extra branches from there and stuck it in to see what that'll do. We've got this one in the back here. That thing's just going crazy. That's probably about 3 feet tall. We got a bunch of new lettuce starts that we started about a week ago. They're doing pretty good. These ones we just put in again today. So we got about a week difference. We have strawberries hiding back here. Lots and lots of strawberries on the vine. We're waiting a couple days to pick those. But they're doing fantastic. We've got a little Gasana here, producing lots of strawberries. These ones actually are pretty good. We got to harvest 3 of them yesterday. All of our pepper plants have flowers on them. We're starting some cilantro, some more nasturtiums. Most of our tomatoes over here have flowers. The dirt ones aren't doing as well, but that's part of the experiment. All of the tomatoes over here are the same ones we have in the deep water culture. They're just growing slower. I got my chamomile and my purple sage and some more nasturtium and thyme and random stuff in the corner here. And I've noticed that even being in the greenhouse, it's not completely sealed. So we are getting bugs. We're getting bugs and pests and stuff that, you know, we might not have had outdoors. We might have had them outdoors. I'm not sure. So we went and picked up some ladybugs, and tonight we're going to release them, and hopefully they'll take care of our pest problem. It's not a lot, but enough that it could potentially be an issue if we let them keep going. So that'll be exciting. We're going to release the ladybugs tonight. And then we've got our next kids going here. We got all these. We seeded them today. We'll see how they go. And then we're going to put all these in the lettuce tower and see which ones like the tower. We saw in a previous YouTube video somewhere that they put the clear tray on the bottom. Most of the time you put the black tray on the bottom, but putting the clear tray on, you can see exactly what your water level is. So you never have to worry about how much water is in there and looking down and put your finger in there or whatever. You always know what it is. So that's kind of cool, and we're going to start doing that moving forward. And that's that's our update. Oh, and the 55-gallon drum. This is where our nutrient water is. We did buy...
Show them the pump.
Yeah. So we bought a pump for it. This pump pumps the water from the bottom out through the hose. So now, instead of using our fish tank pump to fill up all of the stuff that we need, we have a hose with a nozzle on it, and we can fill everything up in seconds instead of, you know, minutes. It doesn't seem like a lot, but when you're spending time watering everything, it's nice to have it filled up in, you know, 10 seconds instead of 5 minutes.